final guest tonight is one of the most recognisable broadcasters in the country. Gabby Logan is one of the UK's most well-known TV presenters. After competing in the 1990 Commonwealth Games, she turned to broadcasting and later joined the BBC, where she's become synonymous with the Olympics, football and rugby coverage.
Yeah, talking to you.
I think I've been rumbled.
This year, she received an MBE for the promotion of women in sport and has just launched a new podcast, The Midpoint. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the fantastic Gabby Logan! How are you?
Really good, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Yeah. I love the podcast. I love the idea behind it.
It was completely self-serving. I was about 46, had this moment one day where I went, oh, I'm in middle age. This is where I am.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was a kind of the opposite of a eureka moment, you know, where you kind of go like, oh, God. And then I didn't do anything about it for ages because I was busy. And then we locked down. I thought, oh, I can start that podcast. And it was really just to chat to people about their experiences and share.
So was it that, because the whole podcast is about kind of ageing and kind of what happens, and it feels like everyone's sort of revealing their little secrets. And then there's a shared sort of like, oh, right.
It's not anti-ageing, because
no.
that is not kind of a concept that I kind of subscribe to.
It's celebratory of those peculiar things.
Well, it started out, I wanted to interview people who'd done interesting things in midlife. You know, because I think I was also going through that in that period thinking, should I do something completely different now, you know? And is it too late? And what should I went through this phase of, only because I really like kind of crime dramas, thinking, I should have been a lawyer. You know? And going, oh, I should have done that, because I did a law degree.
Yeah.
Is it too late? And I'd be kind of Googling late at night going, how long does your law degree last? Is it got a sell-by date? And then...
It's gonna, I mean, you know, I'm sure you're very clever, but it's going to be different if it's like, is that fucking Gabby Logan defending?
I don't trust her.
Yeah.
I've seen the way she talked to Jürgen Klopp. And then I did think that as well. What could I do that people wouldn't have a preconception, you know, that I'm going to start reading football scores or something in the middle of the job that I'm now doing. So, yeah, and then I think you go through phases, don't you, where you really love what you do, and then other times you feel like you need to be challenged in a different way.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, this is challenging me in a different way. It's interesting, you know?
What have you discovered? What's been the fascinating stuff? Yeah.
The guests have morphed now from that early idea of people having to make big changes into people just really embracing or not their midlife. So Claudia Winkleman was on the first series. She was brilliant because she loves getting older, you know.
Right.
She doesn't want to be in her, you know, even her 40s anymore, let alone kind of her 30s. She loves the idea that she doesn't have to go to a nightclub anymore. She doesn't have to go out on Saturday nights if she doesn't want to. And she's the opposite to me with, I love exercise, she hates it. So we were kind of each other's counterpoint about aging. And the reason I want to exercise is because I want to play tennis with my grandchildren in my 60s. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, God, no, I want to just eat sweets with them on the sofa. And so that was really kind of interesting, her ideas about what getting older is. And then you've got other people like Jimmy, who wanted to share, like, literally get his Rolodex out of his surgeons and everything and kind of go through, you know, what his treatments and stuff. But then we have experts come on who talk about things like diet, nutrition, what you should be doing. And, you know.
It's a really interesting world we live in at the minute, where it feels like there are so many people dispensing knowledge about kind of longevity. I love it because I'm terrified of death. So anything I can do to try and kind of postpone it or kind of be as healthy as I can for as long as possible until I perish.
That's what I'm not so much scared of death, because I think it's inevitable.
It is.
Not had anybody on the podcast yet who, you know, has got any other ideas about that. Everybody seems to agree we are going to die at some point.
Yeah, don't point at me.
But I don't want to be I want to be active and
totally
healthy when I'm older. And obviously, you know, we know a lot more about dementia now. We know a lot about how we should look after our brains and what we should be doing to try and stave off those things. And I spoke to a lot of ageing experts who say the reason we've got more dementia is because we are living longer, you know, and those people potentially would have died earlier of other things, and that's kind of what's happening. But I had 5 people in my family who lived to be 100 or older. And so those people have kind of given me, you know, I hope that if I look after myself, there's a long life. And they were all really active into their, you know, 90s.
So do you plan on being sort of like growing old disgracefully?
I think
that's the best way to be, isn't it?
I like the idea of saying what you feel. I had one of my aunties who lived to be over 100, great auntie. When she was about 96, she said something really rude about somebody at a family party, and she went, I don't care if she... And she was right, what she said, but, you know, it was correct, but normally you'd keep that to yourself.
Yeah, my mum is exactly like that. My favourite, we were in a car in the motorway, and it was kind of traffic, and this guy got out of the car because he wanted my autograph. Bizarre moment. It's never like on the middle of a motorway. Can we have a photo? So he kind of wound down, went like that, and as the window came up, my mum was like, "Help! He's kidnapped me!" Like that, and I was like, "Why did you do that?" She's like, "I don't care." Like, and it was such a lovely thing to do that she just had an idea and went, "I'm doing it." Whereas a lot of us kind of live inside our brains.
That
We're
thought would come
afraid
into your
to
brain.
do it.
Yeah,
but let the thought out.
Let it go.
Behaving in a silly way always enriches people's lives, doesn't it?
And humour as well, and being able to laugh at yourself, and having that kind of just relaxed kind of view of life.
Yeah.
I think, and getting to a point where things don't. The one thing, the theme that comes through from all my guests, and I've had so many very different kind of guests, is this idea that you get to a stage where you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, are you allowed to swear on the show? I think
of course
you
you
are,
can.
aren't you?
Yeah.
You just don't give a shit, you know, and that's
I love
really
the fact,
nice.
even though you swore, you still said it as quiet as possible. It was like a mouse farting. It was like... Now, in the spirit of getting all the weird things about ageing out, sometimes, and this may only appeal to men in the room, but I wanted to say it because there might be people at home that might understand what I'm saying.
I'm worried.
As a younger man, I would enjoy myself over the Littlewoods magazine. Right, that was a big thing. This was pre-internet. This is a completely normal thing.
Simpler times.
Simpler times. Occasionally a Graton mag, but mostly Littlewoods. That's the thing I did, and I'm not alone. But now, as I get older, I'll sometimes be going up the tube, and I'll see these ladies. They're now advertising walk-in baths.
The same women.
The same women. And my brain goes, how do I know? Oh, God! Oh! And I was curious, does stuff like that happen to you? But I was thinking, after you had those...
I'm really happy they're still working, those women. I think that's
I'm
great.
not. They freak me out, man. But I was curious, do you ever have
I
those
think what happens
moments?
to me is, right, so I started out, I was quite young when I was doing telly. I was 23, 24. And so I used to be, when I was researching matches, I was the same age as the players. Often I was younger than the players, right?
Yeah, right.
And suddenly I became the same age as the managers. And now I think I'm the parent of most of the players, and possibly even some of them I might be the grandparent, because footballers start quite young, you know? And I say that because my dad was a footballer and had me at 21. So that has been a kind of weird, and I think I missed my 30s. Do you know, like, the 30s go so quickly, and then suddenly you get into your 40s, and you go, oh, God, I'm not the young one in the room anymore. There's that, you know, moment of, or somebody's son is now my producer, and he was like the work experience boy at the beginning of my career, and now he's telling me what to do through my earpiece, and I'm like, what, you were just the kid that brought sweets along like 2 minutes ago. What happened?
So we should chat about sport, man. You've been involved in so many sort of iconic sporting moments down the years.
Yeah.
What a life.
I know.
It must be so weird to have actually been there for a lot of these...
Well, you know, this week was the 18th anniversary of England winning the Rugby World Cup final in 2003, and somebody put up, where were you when this happened? And I was like, pitchside. And because I did the interviews with the players, right? And I'd had this amazing 7 weeks in Australia. We were just married, and Kenny was playing for Scotland in that World Cup. Obviously, they didn't go as far as England. And so his club boss let him stay in Australia for 3 weeks to relax after the World Cup. So he just stayed with me. I was like going off doing my job and doing the Rugby World Cup with my friends who I'd met through rugby, who played with him, winning the World Cup, you know, and being on... That was really special because it felt like you were with your mates who just won a World Cup, you know. So,
God, what an incredible moment that must have
brilliant.
been. Absolutely fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the wonderful Gabby Logan!